This week, I'm traveling over to Austria to race in Pitz Alpine, the 7th stage of the Golden Trail World Series.
Bye guys! We're headed to Europe, let's go! First leg of the trip is down to Phoenix from Flagstaff. I just got out to the course and I'm gonna do a little course shakeout today to check out what I'll be racing on Saturday. So the course is right there and I'm just running straight up today. So it is pretty steep today, but it's gonna be a fun one.
Today, I ran up the steepest climb of the course, which features a mile with over 1,400 feet of gain in it. And for anyone wondering, yes, even the pros hike on steep miles of a course like this. Some athletes are faster and more efficient power hiking than running at certain grades, so at some points it's better to hike than to run. I remember some of my first races in Europe, I got wrecked by Europeans hiking uphill while I was trying to run. But I've worked on my hiking skills and I've gotten a lot better. The climb leads up to a gorgeous alpine lake, and I decided to keep running up the section of the course that we would run downhill in during the race, so I could check out some of the downhill. Today, I was feeling really stiff and unathletic on the downhills, which made me a little nervous for the race, but I knew what I needed to touch up on in the next couple days.
Alright, day 2, we are headed out to the course again. There's a little loop at the start and at the end. I think it's about 3 miles long and you do it twice, so I'm going to do that loop today with a friend and check out the beginning and end of the course.
So freaking smooth.
This loop at the beginning and end of the race is relatively flat, but has some rolling single tracks with a lot of rocks and roots in them. Like I was saying, yesterday I was feeling really off on the descents, so after we finished the loop, my friend Nick and I ran up some of the steep downhill section and I followed him on a fast downhill interval, trying to work on quick feet and not braking on the downhill. Following Nick down helped so much, and after this, I was feeling ready to race.
It's the day before the race, and I'm doing a hike to shake out my legs a little bit. I got a massage this afternoon, just really light flush out before the race, and then doing this hike. I like to hike instead of run the day before races. It's just a little less impact, and just nice to shake out my legs a little bit. So doing this, and then picked up my bib, grabbed some arm sleeves and some gloves because it's actually kind of cold. There's snow on the mountains on some of them right now, so yeah, a little cold. And it's also been raining today. I feel like a lot of races I've done this year have been super rainy races, and this one is no different. So it's gonna be super muddy, and yeah, just I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow even while we're racing. So yeah, it should be interesting and add an extra layer to racing for sure. Trails are kind of crazy with how much you have to think through them. Even in these shorter races, ultras are like a whole other beast, but even in these short distance races, there's a lot to think through because we are starting here and then going all the way up the mountain. So we're going to be 3,000 feet higher than we are starting. So it might be raining down here, but it might be snowing at the top. So lots to think through in terms of what do you bring with you. Some things you have to bring with you, like we're required to bring an emergency blanket, our phone, and a rain jacket with us during the race. So we have some mandatory equipment that we have to bring. And then we have other things that you might want to bring, like I might want to bring my gloves. I might want to bring arm sleeves because maybe I don't want to race in my rain jacket, but I want to be warm. But if you bring those things, then it's extra weight. So it's kind of like weighing the benefits of what you bring and just making sure that you don't pack things that you're not actually going to use, but you have everything that you need. So it's a hard balancing act in the trails. It is race morning in Austria. Rain is in the forecast for today, which honestly at this point just feels like the theme of the season. Sunapee was really rainy, Tebek Trail was rainy, the Broken Arrow VK wasn't rainy, but they changed the course due to wind. So yeah, this year has just been crazy with weather. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a rainy one today, but the good thing with trail running and bad weather is that you're not really going for a time, you're just competing against people, and everyone has to deal with those things in weather. So it's not that big of a deal, it just makes the race a lot crazier. It's gonna make the downhills a lot more wild just because they were already techy to begin with, and now we're adding in this extra element of rain and making it a lot more slick. So it's gonna be a wild downhill for sure. But yeah, I'm excited to race. It'll be a fun day out in the Austrian Alps.
The race was off. About 30 minutes before the race, we got a message that the very top of the climb was cut off from the race. Last year, there was a Golden Trail Series race that was canceled mid-race because they started the race during a thunderstorm and had to stop it before we got up above tree line. So I think they were trying to avoid that situation from happening again, but this cut off about 2,000 feet of climbing and descending, so this completely changed the race. Now, the race was a 12.5-mile race with 2 really fast and relatively flat 3-mile loops with a super steep climb and really techy descent in between. I finished the first loop in around 12th place. On the climb, I lost a couple places at first, but passed some women toward the end of the climb, so I got up to the lake around 13th. The descent was the best part of my race. It was a little tricky because the men started 15 minutes behind us and started catching us on the descent, so while I was trying to control my slides in the mud and not trip over rocks and roots, I was also trying to not get knocked out by the men passing me. I was in the top 10 at the end of the descent, and I tried to hold my position on the last 3-mile loop, but I got passed right at the end and ended up finishing 11th. 8th through 11th were all within 20 seconds of each other, so I need to work on my closing speed, but for a 2-hour race, this was a very close finish.
Show the sock line. So lots of good things came from that race. If you've been following my season, which if you haven't, you can go back. I've made a video for every single race this season, so you can go back and watch. But if you've been following along already, you know that June was really tough for me. I was sick with back-to-back sicknesses and was basically sick all of June. So all of June was really hard. And then July, I finally felt like I had a few weeks where I could put together a training block. And so I went into this race finally with some training under me, which was awesome. So I really felt like my endurance was back. I was up racing with the women that I usually race with. I felt like I was in the race and I was competing, so that was just awesome to feel that way. So I feel like I'm fully back now. Second thing that was great about that race was that I was in, I think, 13th place in the Golden Trail Series going into that race, and I lowered my position to 9th place after that, so I'm 9th in the whole World Series right now. So going into the final with the most points that I've ever had going into the Golden Trail Series World Finals, so I'm really excited to see how I can do in the final. And the last reason why this race was so great for me was that I've just had this mental block like this whole season with running techie downhills, and it's been really hard for me just to get turnover on them and feel really comfortable on them, but something in my mind flipped a switch whenever Nick helped me out with the downhill and I followed him down, and so that really helped me for some reason. So thank you so much, Nick, for helping me out. After that, something flipped in my mind and I had a really great downhill. Golden Trail Series actually did some segments. They did a flat segment, a downhill segment, and an uphill segment, and I was in the top 10 in the flat and the downhill segment, which was really fun to see. So saw some improvement on my downhill and also learned that I am keeping some of my track speed. So it was a really fun race and I feel like I made lots of improvements and I'm super stoked for the rest of the season, which brings us to this week. I'm in Switzerland in Sierre for Series Anal. It's one of the most competitive sub-ultra trail races in the world. So I'm really excited. The competition is stacked. It's looking really competitive, as it always does. So I'm really excited to line up against these really incredibly talented women and just rip it in the mountains in Switzerland. So it's going to be really fun, and stay tuned for that for next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe for more running content and adventure in the trails, and I'll see you next time.